How's it? Welcome to Beards and Cannons, and it's a full house today. Unlike last week where you only had two voices to listen to, now you've got four. So pay attention. Me, Glenn, Dan Potts joining us. Happy to have him on board. And right after this, we are going to get straight into it. Let's go. So, Ryan, how do you feel?
I don't know how I feel. Well, I actually have I know people don't recognize me. I have my glasses on. I have a sty in my eye, so I'm kind of battling that. But other than that, I'm doing a little bit better than the guys on Same Old Arsenal, I gotta say. It was a very interesting conversation. It was a great show. And yes, I include you in that, Tanner. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this, and I'm a little less excited for the season start, but let's face it. I said this on multiple times. I just love watching them play, and I guess I find comfort in me freaking out and yelling at players like the Xhakas, the Luises, and one of them are still here. So yeah, I'm excited.
Glenn. Happy to have you on board when the sun is actually shining.
Yeah, but when the sun is up, my son could burst in any moment. So just be prepared for that.
Things happen.
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be on with Dan for the first time. Who when I go onto YouTube during Arsenal season, he's on every show I'm subscribed to. So it's nice to see you, Dan.
You too, man. You too, Glenn. Pleasure, mate. Pleasure to be on with you and Ryan as well, man.
Dan, tell the truth that you're really just a hologram. There's actually someone on the other side of the computer.
I think he's been cloned. I think he's been cloned.
I mean, you really are everywhere, man, doing big things. Obviously, Same Old Arsenal, where everybody has met you. But Lee Judge's TV as well. You know what? Tell the good viewers a little bit about what's going on over there, real quick.
Yeah, cheers, Tanner. Pleasure to be on. To be honest, man, I always try and support as many Arsenal podcasts as I can, and I'm always a pleasure to be invited on. So, Lee Judge has asked me. He said, "Listen, man, I want to do my own channel, and I want you to come on with me and kind of run it with me." I said, "Absolute pleasure." Me and Lee go way back, and we're great friends and close, and we go to games together. So I said it'd be a pleasure. So we both get ourselves over there. So if you haven't, please done so already. Please come over, like and subscribe, and all that malarkey. We're just short of 6K at the moment. So first few weeks has been good. So we hope to get much more. There's not just Arsenal, it's all football related as well, but we're trying to get some other kind of YouTube influencers involved as well, just to kind of get to know them and give them a kind of bit of promotion as well as us. So it's all about doing things together, man. So that's what we're trying to look at doing. And it's been enjoyable the first few weeks, man. So hope to see you guys over there as well.
Yeah, I would like to second that. I subscribed as soon as I saw Lee had his own channel. You guys hit the ground running, man. That channel's awesome.
Yes,
cheers, Glenn. I appreciate that, man.
Yes, you did. So yeah, what are we? We're just shy of four full days here till kickoff of the season. And Ryan, you kind of already hinted at it, but are you excited at the season just starting and just getting to watch again? Are you pessimistic because of the lack of moves in the transfer market? We haven't really improved. How do you delve a little bit more into how you're feeling? And if you'll all excuse me, I need to back out because my comments aren't loading, so I can't put any comments up on the screen, which I would like to do. So I'm backing out. I will be right back. But Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, I love watching us play. We could be, battling relegation. We could be, in first place. I love watching the guys play. Coming from liking the teams, for baseball, I'm a New York Met fan. I'm an Islander fan. I don't really have a football team, but I also San Jose Sharks for hockey. I like teams that just love choking and being miserable. So I guess it's just part for the course. But yeah, I love watching us play. I love the game. I've been playing since I was 3. So I'm just excited for the guys to get on the field. And while there may be a few players on the field that I'm not fans of, I still support them. But there are a lot of players that I absolutely love and I'm excited to see on the field. I have already said very not so PG things about how much I like ESR and seeing him grow into the man that he's become. And I think he's going to be even better this year. So there are a lot of positives, and I'm very excited. And I just hope that we can maybe make a few more signings and kind of structure this thing up and really try to make a challenge for the top four. Not necessarily get top four, but definitely make that challenge.
Ooh. As far as I go back and forth between it. I'm excited for a new season, of course, but I'm also disgusted with I just wish transfer season ended before the first game. Is that too much to ask? Is that really too much to ask? But yeah, of course, I'll be watching, and but like I said, I'm really disgusted with the slowness of our transfer season right now. I'm not happy with the manager, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the first game. But as far as I'm concerned, we're basically the same team we were at the end of last season, especially with Partey out. That's all.
Yeah. Dan, where do you come down on it?
Well, listen, everyone who's listened to me knows I'm not a huge fan of this process. They know I'm not a huge fan of Stan Kroenke, and they know I'm not a huge fan of the board or the manager. So it's really quite negative for me at the moment, if I'm honest with you. And I suppose the only thing I can say is at least I've been consistent with it, because I'm still as negative as I was back nearly a year ago to 9 months ago. Because I've got to be real, guys. My eyes don't lie to me. I don't see much change. I don't see a huge progress. I don't see much happening in the transfer window. And if I said to you, Tan, all right, go and improve this Arsenal side, would you spend £50 million on a centre-back as your priority, or would you try and look at the midfield first of all? Because as much as I'm a massive fan of this signing in terms of the quality, I think he's a great centre-half and has the potential to grow with this team. I wanted a Thomas Partey partner, and I've got one now, and his name's Granit Xhaka, and he's been here for 6 seasons already. So that does not improve this side. So that's the first thing I'm frustrated with. Then I see the lack of creativity in the games in pre-season. We've done nothing on that. We've allowed Smith Rowe to be given another shirt number and another contract, which is great. Absolutely fantastic to tie the likes of Tierney, Saka, Martinelli and Smith Rowe to long-term contracts. I'm glad Balogun we can throw into that mix as well. And there are some that perhaps we're looking at trying to get rid of. So we're trying to get a young crop of players. I get that. Off the pitch, Edu and Arteta deserve some credit, because I think the signings have been pretty good. And I've just said the youth system's looking great as well. But they do actually need to execute it on the pitch as well. This preseason, what I've been most frustrated about is seeing names of players that I do not rate that are still in and around this squad. Said Kolasinac came on against Chelsea. Why? Bellerin has played most of the games. Why? Cedric and Maitland-Niles are now coming back on as right backs. Why? We've got a situation where Willian has been playing with a pot belly that's bigger than mine, and he's running around the pitch on 220k a week, right? We've got a midfield that consists of Xhaka and El Neni most of the time now, because Thomas Partey's now out. I'm a fan of Lokonga from what I've seen, and I think Smith Rowe has put on a little bit of muscle, and it's looking good. I think Saka coming into the mix is great, and I'm a huge Pepe fan. But Lacazette and Aubameyang cannot play together, and yet we're still forcing them in the side moving forward. So I need to see some changes. Whether it is Abraham that people are ranting and raving about, whether it's James Maddison, or whether we even bring Martin Ødegaard back, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'd rather see Maddison or Husam Aouar. But if that happens, at least we're looking at the right areas of the squad, because at the moment, Tanner, I see a weaker squad. I see no Ødegaard currently, yeah? Or at that type player. And right. I see some of the players that have left and ones that we wanted to. Everybody knew the priority was going to be a partner for Thomas Partey. Whether it's Basuma, Bruno Gomares, whether it is a Husam Aouar, and you try and go down that route to try and get some creativity, whatever it is, try and look towards that player, and we haven't seen it. Lokonga, I don't think he's going to be a starter. But you know what? I hope he's going to be now, because otherwise it's Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey again, and that does not excite me. It might have been okay last season in games, but it got us 8th place. We need to progress and try and look forward. And at the moment, selling Joe Willock, as much as I think that's great business, that's goals from our midfield gone. So we need to replace that. So I can't sit there and be too positive about it when we spoke on Same Old Arsenal earlier about Harry talking about Manchester City really going, for all of the goals and the assists they get. We can't even look towards them. We need to look at where we are currently, because we are in such a bad place right now, and we need to do something about it quick, Tanner. So no positivity from me. I'm sorry, chat.
You have every. Can I just add one thing to that, BG? I just yesterday saw Forbes' list of the richest sports owners in the world. Kroenke is number 14. There's only one Premier League owner ahead of him, and that's Chelsea. Manchester City isn't in there because they're owned by an oil country. But he doesn't put any of his money into this team, and it's really frustrating as all hell. That's all. I just wanted to add that.
Well, and I don't want to necessarily piggyback off the same old Arsenal, but what I brought up there in the fact, just kind of take the ownership conversation. We'll keep going for a minute here. But, Ryan, Glenn, you guys are both over here across the pond from Dan with me, and you follow American sports, and it's just a different system over here because we have salary caps and, collective bargaining agreements that are very well known. And the Kroenkes just don't get the way things work in world football or soccer, as we sillily is that sillily? No, anyway, as we call it. I don't know.
Don't say we. I never use that word. Don't say we. I never use that word. Don't say we. I never use that word.
Glenn, did you break? What did you broke?
No, I hate that S word.
You got stuck on, got stuck on repeat loop. But the ownership and whatever, man. We could sit here and we could dissect ownership, and this could be a month's worth of shows, as it were. We don't really need to spend too much time there, but yeah, Dan is right. If for all of the hope springs eternal, it's a new season. It's look, we're top of the league right now.
We are good,
yeah, because A starts for the team
right.
A.
But
Bournemouth, AFC Bournemouth is not.
But Dan is right. There have been the changes we've made are minimal at best. We've addressed, and a month ago, and I said on same old USA, same old Arsenal USA, that the Ben White signing, when it was really announced during the Euros that, okay, this is a deal that's going to be done, it was the way I explained it was, well, okay, if we know that we're in the market for that and this is what we've allotted money-wise to spend, I'm not going to wait until I get the other things on my list of priorities done to go get that if I could just do it now. But it seems like it's now coming to bear that maybe we don't have all of that money to spend, and maybe we did shoot 50 million pounds at a position that wasn't. We needed him. We needed to bring in a center back, but did we need to spend 50 million pounds on it? And I'm starting to come around to the opposite way of thinking now, Ryan, that maybe this was not I like Ben White and he's going to be a good player, and I think he is worth 50 million pounds right now. But was this the right time for Arsenal to buy him, given this the biggest signing of the summer as it kind of looks right now?
I mean, just given us as a club and knowing the way we do business, how we leave things to the last minute, I still like the signing. You make a list of needs and the severity. You're never going to cross everything off one by one in order. It's just not going to happen. Yes, because I agree with you guys that our number one need was a partner for Partey, but the way things go, and I've said this on multiple shows, and I can say it again for everyone that I haven't already beat this dead horse. I sincerely think we went in for Basuma to Brighton. We knocked on Brighton's door. Goes, hey, we want Basuma. Had a conversation with them, and we come out going like, okay, we'll talk to you later. And then next thing you know, we have Ben White. We're like, oh, what the fuck? When did this happen? What just happened? Because I do think Brighton could get rid of a center back. I think they're good there. Whereas someone of Basuma type player is a real game changer for them, probably their best player. So I think they're a little hesitant to let him go because let's face it, Brighton need help too. Brighton need a striker. They need to score goals. Hopefully, maybe we'll go back in, knock back on their door, give them Eddie, and see if that buys us any goodwill. Or I've also heard, which would be really cool. I think the guys on Same Old Arsenal actually might have brought this up, but why don't we give him Balogun? Send Balogun on loan there. Maybe they'll do us a favor. Like, hey, we're doing you a favor. Give us, give us Basuma for a little bit. But it's tough too because again, and it's also tough for me to talk because having just come off watching the Same Old Arsenal show, I feel like it's all that's in my brain right now. But again, talked about how all these teams are struggling. The Italian league struggling, French league struggling, everyone's struggling because of this COVID market. We kind of might have to wait to the last minute because teams are trying to act tough and be like this big bad wolf and be like, no, this player's for this much, this player's for that much. But at the end of the day, everyone's struggling for money, even a giant like Barcelona, that if you wait long enough, you poke at them, they're going to fall over. And we'll probably be able to get some interesting buys and some interesting sales that we might not or had that opportunity had it not been a COVID market.
Okay, 2 points. One, Arsenal just recently told us, don't judge us until the end of the window. Okay, 22 days to go. But I am still as frustrated as Dan is with this team. Yeah. Our owner does not, despite being the third richest owner in the Premier League, does not put any of his own money into this team. And no Partey. Everybody acts like, oh, Brentford, at least we have an easy first game. This is the same Arsenal team as last year that you can't predict who they're going to beat or draw or whatever. I'm sick of it. But I'm a little excited for the season, but right now, especially after listening to Dan.
I think that's the problem real quick is with Stan when he bought the club, it was just a portfolio move. It was just a little jewel in the crown is what we said, but he doesn't really see us as something to really play with and move. We're the car that sits in the garage and just he shows all the friends, oh, this is my old school convertible that I bought. And to be fair, also a couple seasons ago, because everyone talks about, oh, Stan Kroenke needs to go. This isn't Stan Kroenke's club. This is Josh Kroenke's club. I've read multiple articles, 3-4 summers ago. Stan Kroenke pretty much gave Josh this team as a Christmas gift. They're so fucking rich. So you really have to shift kind of more toward Josh because Josh is the front head of this club and he's the front head of the KSC Enterprises, the team that represents us. So, I mean, to be fair, I'm still going to blame you still have to blame Josh and Stan. You blame them both. But, I mean, to really be throwing the thing at Stan, well, no, and I think also that but even if not, that just shows how little they care about us if they're handing us off like we're a Christmas gift.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'll send the article to you. I read it earlier this year. The Kroenkes called the crown jewels in their team the Rams from the NFL and Arsenal.
Exactly.
We're not the car in the garage, at least according to them and what they say.
Well, my point is we're not taking the car for a drive because we.
Okay.
This
I misunderstood your analogy. I'm sorry.
This owner hasn't invested a dime in us. I mean, I wouldn't say a dime, but this owner, Stan, hasn't really gave us any money. So yeah, we are. We're the expensive car in the garage that take us out for a drive. Let's see what we can pick up. Yeah, be excited. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, Dan, you want to piggyback on anything there?
Oh man, be excited! I'll be excited when him and his dad leave. I'll tell you that.
Yes,
that's when I'll be excited. I can't stand them, man. The people say they've spent money. Yeah, we've spent a lot of money. Trust me, we have. But it's not their money. Yeah, we were a self-sustaining business model, and we've turned into a self-declining model because that's what we are, man. We're not a self-sustaining model anymore, and that's to do with them. Because I know they've spent money, but look at what we've spent it on. And then people will say, but that's not the Kroenkes' fault. Yes, it is. Because they've kept these people in the positions for far too long. Sven Mislintat, everyone said was going to be great. Raul Sanlehi, he's going to save us. Now we've got somebody else, Richard Garlick. I mean, wow, Garlick stinks, man. And this guy definitely stinks because I've seen nothing from this guy at all so far. Edu is now this director of football, which we all think is going to save us because he was an Arsenal legend. He's now on holiday, and people are saying he's looking at players out there. What, on a jet ski in Spain? He's looking at players. Like, come on, man. This is getting silly, and we're in a situation where we are in serious trouble, Tanner, right? Because I look at the league position of the last 2 years, and I don't see anything improving with this current squad. I don't care that we ended the season a lot better. We messed it up at the start, and that the way we're playing in pre-season against Chelsea, against Spurs, against Hibs, against Rangers, we can't beat them teams with this same squad that we all think now is potentially weaker, and it certainly is at the moment. Let's see what happens in the next few weeks. We're going to start this season against Chelsea and Man City, and we all know what's going to happen. Brentford is going to be a tough game, everyone keeps saying. We should be looking at that Brentford game going, right, at least that's 3 points. Let's try and at least give Chelsea a good game. We can't do that with this squad. We cannot do that with this manager.
I mean, isn't that what we did last year with we looked at the first
I was just going to say that
of
with
the
Fulham.
season. It was Fulham away. Was it West Ham at home? Was the opening fixture? and then I can't
And then
remember who we
Sheffield
were
United,
away
we
to. Was
beat,
it
we
was
beat those
Liverpool?
three, didn't we? Yeah, and then
It
Liverpool.
was
away.
Liverpool. We were away to Liverpool, and then we were home to, I want to say Sheffield United.
And then, it was, and then it was Man City away.
Yeah, and it was City
Mhm.
away. So the first
Yep.
5, you're looking at it, you're like, okay, we should beat West Ham, which we did. Believe it or not, considering where we finished, Sheffield United was a challenge. That was a struggle until the very end. We won the games we should have won, lost the games everybody expected us to lose. But we look at it now, and boy, there's just a different feel around this Brentford game. Is it us? Is it really, when I say us, is it the club? Is it really that we've not improved? We've actually digressed? Or is it, are Brentford, like, are they something to behold here? Are they this year's Leeds United? Dan, I'll start with, well, go ahead, Glenn. You jumped in. Go ahead.
We've look, Ben White, statistically, he's better than Luiz and Holding. He gives the ball way less than those two, and he dribbles around players more than those two. So yeah, we're slightly improved with Ben White, but without somebody next to Partey, it doesn't matter who the F we are playing, we could lose the game because this is an inconsistent team. I can't stand the pushback. Oh, look at Arsenal since Christmas, how they improved. Yeah, but when push came to shove and we had a chance to all we had to do is score one goal in that stupid Europa League at home, and we would have moved on to the, it's don't give me that Christmas stuff. We still had a chance. We had a run of like 4 games that was supposed to be easy, and we Fulham 1-1 at home. You remember that?
Yeah.
Don't give me this Christmas stuff. Don't give it to me.
I agree. Let me preface this, which I agree. I think we actually got a little better, and I think we have players in the club, the ESRs, the Sakas, and I do think Martinelli's gonna get more minutes that are gonna be better. We're gonna be better for it. But when you look at it, in my opinion, I saw this coming last season, and everyone looked at me like I was crazy. Before last season, everyone's like, that's it. We're gonna win Europa. We're gonna get top 4. What would you rather have? And I'm like, we're not good. And I know, and I keep bringing this up to Tanner because it's my big I told you so. And everyone laughed at me when I was on Arts Bros doing Arts Bros shows. I was like, we all were looked at like, oh, we're so negative. We're negative Nancy's. And I'm like, we're not going to be good. Everyone laughed. And then I saw this happen. I'm like, not surprised. And I tried to take some positivity out towards the end of the season because I guess unlike people, I do see what Arteta's trying to do. Is it the best way to win football games? I don't know. I don't really think so, but I do see a plan there. I just, I don't think we have the players for it. And I think that it's tough to do such a rebuild in such a, in a pandemic, in such a terrible market. So I don't want to give Arteta all the outs. I don't want to give him excuses because he's made so many mistakes along the way. And I'm not even sure if he's the right guy to take us forward as far as just a coach, let alone recruiting and all that stuff. But, it's just interesting to see how negative everybody is when it's like, well, we were in the same situation last season. We signed William from Chelsea, who, to be fair, I was probably the only Arts Pro, one of the only people that actually sort of defended it because I thought he was really good at Chelsea. And I don't think anybody saw him taking this big of a dip for us. But, it's – I don't know. I guess I'm going off on a tangent. I think it's just so funny. But I do think that we're going to have some things to look forward to. And I do think someone like a Lakanga, to me, is almost like a Guendouzi type signing. Whereas when we signed Guendouzi, we thought Guendouzi we'll throw him to the academy, we'll build him up a little bit, maybe we'll send him out on loan. But he impressed Emery so much in preseason, he played every freaking game pretty much. Mm-hmm. Or it might have been Wenger even when we signed him. But still, I think Lakanga has even shown more progress, more potential than Guendouzi, which I can't even say because I'm a big Guendouzi guy. But I think he could be a real player. Do I want to start week in, week out for us? No. We need better players. We need to upgrade. We need players that are Premier League proven that can bring us there. Problem is, we don't have $100 million to spend. So the choice is ours to make our smart moves.
You're bang on, Ryan, with what you're saying, mate. You are bang on. What I don't get is, as much as I like Lokonga, I like Tavares, however you want to say it. I think that he's good cover. I mean, listen, he's going to be better than Kolasinac because I think Glenn would be. But when you look at when you look at the situation, we are. Let me give you a scenario, right? Thursday night, Bernd Leno gets COVID, can't play. Runnelson's in goal. They have allowed that to happen, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal Football Club have allowed that to happen, that he could go down injured in training or contract coronavirus, and all of a sudden, Okonkwo or Runnison are going to be our number one. That worries me, yeah? We've got 4 right-backs at the club. Neither of them are good enough, yeah? Whether you like Maitland-Niles as a fullback, he doesn't want to play there, so therefore he can't play there. Bellerin, I mean, he's trying to look like Glenn, I think, with that tash. I saw him at the weekend. What was that all about? He's not good enough, and halfway out the door going towards Inter Milan, we were hoping. Then you look at the situation of Callum Chambers, who I think is good cover and okay for games, potentially against Brentford, Burnley, and West Ham, but I don't want him as the number one. And Cedric, I've never seen a guy with so much more errors to go. He's trying to compete with Xhaka, I think, you know? It's unbelievable. So that's really poor. And he keeps mucking around with them. Pick one. Yeah, this is pre-season. Pick one that you believe is good enough for the last 2 games of pre-season, ready for Brentford. He's bringing on Maitland-Niles back at right back now. So there's so many question marks over what this manager's trying to do. I see Callum Chambers then drop into centre back because apparently Rob Holding's gone off to get a hair transplant. I don't know whether that's true, but that's what I'm being told. So, which is a disgrace if that's true, by the way, because there's rumours that
Lee would not be happy about that.
No,
he stand like the word.
He would not be.
Hey, bald is beautiful, man. Bald is beautiful.
There we go, man. So this is where I'm at, and you know, I feel, touching on the fan base, Ryan, as well. I have not been very popular over the last 9 months to 12 months because I've been fairly negative with what I'm seeing. But I've had an amazing amount of people that are starting to say, apologies for slating you on social media, man. I'm kind of feeling you now. And I don't want that. 1, I want it to be wrong. And 2, I want you to stay over there because you love this guy. He's the best young coach in the world to you. So you stay with this guy and you back your guy, because that's what you've been telling me to do, is trust the process and back your manager. If the process was only 9 months ago, then in 9 months you don't back it. We weren't far off, were we, at the end of the day? So there's fans screaming at my head off 9 months ago when I was losing my head, losing to Burnley at home, losing to Leicester, losing to Everton, losing to Spurs, when I was just done. And people were saying, you're far too early, far too early. I'm 18 months in and I've seen enough. I give this guy 6 games. I don't care if that's two less games. I want him sacked now. However, he won't be. I give him 6 games to pick me up at least 10 to 12 points. Otherwise, we get somebody else in and we go, because I cannot wait till Christmas and be 15th again. I just can't. We have got some quality in this team. We have. Antonio Conte would rise us, progress us 100%. He's not going to win us the league, but he would definitely put us in contention with some of the other teams that we're looking up against at the moment, right? But this owner is never going to want Antonio Conte, because Antonio Conte wants more money and he wants money to be spending on players. So we're stuck with a novice club that we are turning into because of a novice owner. And that's why all of my fingers point at Stan and Josh Kroenke, because they don't care. They've neglected us. And look at where we are now. Madness.
Yeah. Arteta's, I looked at the odds for Premier League managers being sacked, and Arteta's 10-1. He's the 8th most likely to be sacked. And I agree with you. If I were in charge, he'd be gone already, Dan, because I don't like his handling of players. You know, everybody talks about how long it took Pepe to acclimate to the Premier League, but every time the guy got into some good form, he was sat by Arteta.
Unbelievable.
So, you know, where's the urgency from? Oh, and please, Daddy's working. Yeah, get out. Somebody else. Just let me say this quick before I mute myself. Where's the urgency with Arteta? Where is the urgency with Arsenal in signing players? Why do we have to wait? Yeah, there's 22 days to go, but it's 3 days until the season starts. Where's the urgency? I have to go yell at my kid. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was just saying the interesting thing was, and I'm bringing something up that you guys talked about on Table Arsenal, was Lee was talking about how, you know, the preseason is not just for fitness. It's not just for getting players to mesh well with the team. It's just everything. It's bringing people in. It's figuring out what you're doing and placing that plan forward. And I think, you know, I think we kind of hit the plan on the head when we were talking about right backs, and Dan was saying how, like, no one's good enough. And I agree. We need to have our structure and have our plan and put it forward. Yes, I get these preseason games don't matter, but against Chelsea, against Tottenham, we need to put our plans forward and show us the structure. We need to almost, in a way, almost show teams our hand, which if we're good enough, it doesn't matter if we show them our hand, but we need to have a plan. And for me, our preseason looked like we were just going through fitness, getting guys minutes, not really showing any kind of plan that we want to do, because let's face it, we really don't have a plan. We really didn't have much of a plan at the end of last season. Yeah, we had a way of playing, but we really just didn't have all of our, I guess, our gears turning. And that's obviously we need signings for that. But I think we need a better plan, even if it is preseason, to kind of vet that out. Because as much as I love Callum Chambers and thinks he can get us top 4, because I think, to be fair, I think right back, given Arteta's system, is probably one of the weaker positions, or less important positions, I should say. We're going to need to upgrade him on him eventually. So we need to figure out what we need to do to fix that problem, and as well as any other problem we have.
I mean, there in itself is a process, right? It is absolute folly to think that any manager at any club in any country in the world could come in, take over, and just, okay, every single player on this roster is gone. I'm either selling them, or come the last day of the transfer window, if they haven't been bought, I'm cutting them. So go out and start finding me 25 more players that are, 20 players that are going to get a shirt on game day. That's just not going to happen. The right back thing, I'm with Ryan on that. Callum Chambers, look, right back is a position. I want Bellerin gone, but right back is kind of that's not high on the list of priorities positionally for me in the transfer window. And Dan, you sent a chill up my spine with the Bernd Leno catching COVID thing. So I'm going to touch wood here and pray to my God that doesn't happen, because yikes. I have 3 Beagles. Pick one, they'll be a better goalkeeper than Robertson will be. They'll at least chase the ball. One of them will chase the ball. I promise you that. She'll go get it, and she'll scare the shit out of you while she's doing it. But I liked when the transfer window. I never liked the window closing after the start of the season. It just didn't feel right to me, and it was like that for as long as I can remember. And then just recently, the Premier League said, or the FA said, we're going to shut the window. What like the Monday or Tuesday before the season actually kicked off, and I think it'll go back to that eventually. But I think right now the window's staying open just for the sake of COVID, and the season did end a little later than normal this past season. But I don't like this dithering about waiting until the end of the window, because we hear all the time from people that, he needs time to settle in. He needs time to bed in. If we go and get James Matt, does he really need time to settle in, for crying out loud? He's English. He grew up with this, right? So, maybe a Thomas Partey I could understand. He's coming from Spain. Even a Lautaro Martinez or Bruno Guimaraes, that I could get. But it Dan, tell me the truth. Do you think Arsenal are working behind the scenes to bring in more more players, and it's just a matter of this is just the way we negotiate? We're really, it just really is a negotiation. We're not Roman Abramovich, where we just say, here's our first offer. No, that's not good enough. We want this. Okay, here's a check. Done. Even that I think is a little, that's pie in the sky. You know what I mean? That's pie. That's just not the real world in business. And when you look at this from a business standpoint, the way that Chelsea do business, in my opinion, that's just not real world. So are we looking for other players and it's just dithering with negotiations, or have we, I hate to be perverted here, but have we shot our load in the transfer market and we're laying back smoking a cigarette now?
Well, we needed to do that, mate. We needed to get it done. I don't care. I spoke to Turkish the other day, and he said it on AFTV, and he was spot on. He said, I don't care when the window closes. I care when the season starts. And that's one date everyone does know. When the season starts, be ready for Friday the 13th. You can't make it up, can you? Friday the 13th.
Yeah, right.
Be ready. Yeah, be ready, because that's when the season starts. And we're not ready. We just made jokes about the goalkeeping situation. We're making jokes about right back. We're making assumptions that our midfield is going to be Thomas Partey less. We've got 3 players up front. Only one of them looks like scoring in Pepe. The other two can't play together, can't score goals. We have no creative midfielder because as much as I like Smith Rowe, he is not an assist king. So I worry about lack of creativity, lack of goals again, because I saw 38 games last season of exactly the same thing of what I've seen in the last 3 or 4 games in pre-season of the last few weeks. So nothing there is going. And to answer your question, mate, we just don't know what we're doing. Novices trying to do professionals' jobs. And we're seeing now, and I've said this before and made the analogy the same thing, we're turning into a novice club because the players that are performing on the pitch are the novices now. That's why Saka and Smith Rowe are so good, because we're a novice club. The players are, the culture has always been get to a certain age and you put your feet up, you earn your wages, because Mesut Ozil was doing it for the last 3 years of his contract. Aubameyang's done it for 2 years and he's probably going to do it for another 2. Willian didn't even give us anything other than £220,000 a week of sitting there and doing nothing. So that's what happens when there's old people coming into the club. And I say old, I'm older than all of them, by the way, I have you know. But I do feel...
I think we all are.
I think we all are. But I will say, off the pitch, the youth is the only positive, Tanner, for me. The youth is the only positive. We're building a young crop of players that are going to grow together. And do you know what? In 3 or 4 years' time, we can say, wow, Balogun did well at that loan move. Look at him now. He's killing it. Look at Smith Rowe and Saka's performances together. The telepathy is amazing. Look at what Lokonga's doing in midfield with his forward passing. Look at Ben White and Gabriel forming a partnership with Kieran Tierney on the left. Yeah, we all want that, yeah? But I don't have the faith in it, because in my head that says what it should be. But Mikel Arteta doesn't fill me with any confidence for me to believe that's going to be the case. So that's why I'm only giving him 6 games, Tanner, because I don't want to get to a stage where in December people are going, oh, just give him till the new year. And then there you go, just give him to a few months more. And then we're in March and we're 16th. Let's see what happens in those 6 games and see how we're playing. Not how we what the results are, how we're playing. I don't care if we lose to Chelsea and City. We ain't supposed to beat them, right? That's not where we're at this season, unfortunately. Don't go and lose 4-0.
Let me ask you this, Dan, and I'm going to add Ryan and Glenn. I'm going to come to you on this as well. So, what is in the first 6 games? So we go at Brentford, Chelsea at home, to City. There's an international break, and then I believe we have. I just had it here. It's not Burnley. It's Norwich home, at Burnley, and then North London Derby at home. So really look at it. You say, okay, 2 games. Chelsea, City shouldn't win those. Probably losses. Should beat Brentford, should beat Norwich, two newly promoted teams. Burnley took 4 points from us last year, and then the scum in the North London Derby, and we all know that can go either way. What is an acceptable point total for you for Arteta to keep his job after the first 6 games?
You take 9 points from Brentford, Burnley, and Norwich, and you don't lose the North London Derby. If you have to take a point, you take a point. There's your 10 points. Anything less than that, I'm
gotta go. So Ryan, I'll come back to you. Number 1, is 6 games enough? Number 2, if 6 games is enough, what's the acceptable point total for him? Or what is the unacceptable point total for him to lose his job after 6 games if you think that's enough?
It's so funny because I think a lot can happen in 6 games, but I also think not a lot can happen in 6 games. For me, I think it's really the transfers and the transfer market that's really going to dictate how I feel, because Arteta says, "Oh, the board's backing me and all this." So I'm like, "All right, we'll go out and show it." I mean, we've been linked with so many people. It's not like we've been linked with 20 different players and only 2 of them help us. Probably more than half. I could be like, all right, that's an upgrade. That's an upgrade. That makes us better. That makes us better. So let's get the ball rolling. Let's make some moves. And to be fair, and I say this with every transfer window, is I think that it starts where we sell. I think selling is what we need to do, and selling is what is going to get the ball rolling even faster. So I think when Xhaka didn't get sold, I think a lot of people were scratching their heads, and I feel like that kind of slowed things down for us. But I still think that even if we don't sell who we, I guess, are supposed to sell, we still need to make those buys. We still need to upgrade in certain positions. We still need that partner for Partey, because I don't trust Lokonga this season. Not yet. We haven't seen him play a meaningful football game yet, so we have to see. But I just think that, we need to be ruthless. And if Roma want Xhaka for 15 mil, we have to bend over and take it. we're not in a position as a club to dictate how much a certain player is. If you're doing, and again, I don't want to relate this to American sports, but it's a little different. Rebuilding in America is different in the fact that there's draft picks and you could trade all your talent away and you can make trades, where swap deals are really not so common in European football. But we have to do some very ruthless things. And if it means bending over and taking it a few times for taking less money for Xhaka, if it means in the long run we're making upgrades, obviously I wouldn't just sell Xhaka just to get a little bit of scratch. But I just think that we're trying to sit on this high horse when we finished 8th back-to-back seasons. It doesn't really make much sense to me.
It's I refuse to even guess what we're going to do if the squad stays the same the first 3 games of the season, because anything can happen. If we stick with this squad, the first 3 games of the season, it's like last year, same shit, different day. We could lose to anybody. So I can't even predict it. I have one of my best friends in the world is always late. I'm talking about the transfer market. That's the analogy I'm making now. He's always late. So if I want him somewhere at 5, I tell him to get here at 4:30. Why isn't Arsenal, how is there no fire lit underneath them right now?
Because they want to sell. They're trying to sell.
Yeah, but first. you got to say, hey, best offer. And take it. This whole damn pandemic.
That's the problem. Nobody wants to buy our players because we're back-to-back 8th place.
Somebody wanted to buy Xhaka. Somebody wanted to buy Xhaka, but they didn't meet our price. In this pandemic world, everybody's losing money. It's just so damn frustrating.
There it is.
We
finally got it.
I honestly believe we got 22 days left. I had a dream about this the other night. The transfer market doesn't even there's no escape for me, even in my dreams. I dreamt that we got Aouar and Odegaard. And I'm like, you know what? After a few days, I'm like, shit, I would take that because we would be better.
Dan has to run. So Dan, I'm gonna hand it over to you. Give us a final word, just if you can fit it in, just where do you see us finishing in the season? I know that's a tough call to make, but just given what you see in front of you right now, and just a final thought on the season coming up on Friday.
Listen, it's pretty obvious for me, mate, that if we do not see much happening in the next couple of weeks on Arteta and Edu's head, be it, and on our owner's head, be it, for the amount of abuse they're going to receive when fans come back into the ground. It's as simple as that, mate. And you think these fans were bad with Arsene Wenger and with Unai Emery, it's going to be even worse at the moment, because trust me, everyone is so annoyed, so annoyed. And I don't think the patience is there anymore. I really don't. Excuse me 1 second. Oh, sorry, I just cleared my throat. I think when you look at what's going on in the world at the moment, people are saying, but no one's buying players. Nobody's buying players. Wrong. I look at the Premier League anyway, and I see Manchester City going and splashing money on Grealish and Kane. They're gone. I see Chelsea going and buying Lukaku. They're not going to stop there. They're gone. I see Liverpool with all their players coming back, and they still go and buy Kouyate to partner Van Dijk. They're gone. Leicester. Everyone says we can catch Leicester. If they do keep Maddison and Tielemans, they've still just bought Samare, who I would have walked into our midfield next to Thomas Partey for £17 million as a bargain. They don't play 4-2-3-1 anymore, which is why Maddison looks to be like he could be going. They bought Daka. They've still got Aniacho and Vardy. They're buying players, yeah? They're buying players for other positions, like Ryan Bertrand's coming and a few other cover players there. Manchester United have signed Sancho. They've signed Varane. They're looking at Sal from Atletico Madrid. So I can't have that excuse anymore, because everybody around us is ahead of us already, and now they're even further ahead of us.
Yep.
And it's like, Lee Judges said to me yesterday, if Usain Bolt at a race against me in 100 meters, he'd beat me. But I'm basically, it's like me saying, there you go, take a 10-yard head start as well, you're saying. Because that's what we're doing with these 3-4 teams ahead of us at the moment, that we are apparently trying to catch up. So if we don't do some serious business in the next couple of weeks, Tanner, it is going to be 8th, 9th place again, in my opinion, because that is what this squad has shown that it is under this manager. Antonio Conte, I still believe, could get us into the top 6, maybe push us towards Manchester United and Liverpool for 3rd or 4th if he was to grab hold of this side. But that's just not going to happen. So the way I see it is maybe a signing like a Aouar, Erdegaard back on loan or whatever the hell it is, Madison if we can pay the funds. I don't see that's enough still because it got us eighth place last season with Erdegaard. So let's actually look at what we are in front of us right now. I really feel like it's going to be a struggle in the first 6 games if we do not get 2 or 3 of these players in. And I worry for our season. I worry for the negativity. I worry for the fans getting managers out. We're getting boards out, getting owners out, because it ain't going to be a nice place. We're supposed to be enjoying coming back into the grounds.
Yeah.
And I do
Yeah.
not want it to be toxic, mate. I really don't. And I fear for that. Massively.
It's already toxic. It's William's birthday, and somebody did a thread on Twitter, happy birthday, and they were yelling at each other like, you stupid F. And then I'm like, they just wish the guy a happy birthday, for crying out loud. You can't even.
It's social media is a very toxic place in general. But you know, Dan, you're absolutely right, and you know, but the thing is, and I'll say this, and then I'll let you go. I'll give you one more say, and then I'll let you duck out of here.
Yeah, sure.
Are we? To me, we really are 1, maybe 2 players away from really turning this around and really say, okay, you give me 2 players, a partner for Partey in the midfield, again, an Yves Bissouma, Bruno Guimaraes, even if it's Lucas Torreira, if we can find that player again from 2018 when he first got here, and then you give me a more attack-minded midfielder, you know, be it Madison, be it Aouar, you know, that really, I think, changes the outlook on things. Russ, would you agree with that?
Listen, I've said it before, mate. How many times have we said we're 1 or 2 players short? And I just hope they get it done this time. You know, I really hope they get it done this time, because apparently this is a new process and this is a new regime. So they won't be doing that, will they? Because this is a new regime everyone's told me to trust. So they won't leave us short, even though they already kind of have. So that's what people are telling me. Trust this process. So I'm going to have to, because, you know, that's what everyone's telling me to do. The way I see it is this, Tanner. If you get to a stage where you are 1 or 2 players short. I remember when we were 1 or 2 players short the year Leicester won the league, where Giroud was our only striker.
2015.
Yeah, and we had no defensive midfielder. Oh yeah, we had Francis Coquelin and I think Frimpong on the bench. That was what we were. 1 or 2 players short. You know, we were a defensive midfield short, and we were a central centre forward short. And we ended up, instead of getting Luis Suarez, we ended up with Yaya Sanogo, and the rest is history. So that is where we were at then. And we are now, 7 years down the line, and we've gone the other way. We've got Gabriel, we've got Pablo Mari, we've got Ben White, we've got Rob Holding, but we haven't got one centre midfielder that I trust next to Thomas Partey, or a creative midfielder that can create. Because I like Smith Rowe. I don't want to get away from the point that I like Smith Rowe. I just don't feel that he is our assist king and our creator. So we need some help in there. So we're 1 or 2 players short yet again. And I don't want them to leave us at the end of 31st of August, 1 or 2 players short, because that's what I've seen for the last 10, 15 years, mate.
It's like it's on loop. It's just we're 1 or 2 players short, and we're just saying this over.
Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day.
Dan, we'll let you go on that note, man. Thank you very much.
Hi, Dan.
For joining
Absolute
up with
pleasure.
us, and we'll talk soon. All right. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you take care, guys. See you later, Ron. See you later,
Bye-bye,
Dan.
Dan.
Take it easy,
Bye,
Dan.
Take care.
Thanks, Dan. Good stuff having Dan on. That's a long one for him. Obviously, a long one for me too, because I'm going to stick it out for a little bit longer. But you know, Glenn, give me the 2 players. Give me the 2 players that we need.
Realistically,
of course, realistically, we're not. Yeah, I mean, Leo Messi's not coming to Arsenal.
All right. All right. Ryan, you go first, because I just have to text my wife to shut the fuck up. But I'm gonna say it nicer than that. So Ryan, you go first.
So is Jack Grealish on loan realistic?
No.
Or I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I had to say it. Sorry. Yeah, 2 players. I would. That's very interesting, because I don't think we're more than 2 players. I think you have to sign. I think, to me, you sign Owana. You have to. Or we need a backup goalie. That's 100%. I want Owana. I don't think we're gonna go that way, but whatever.
You mean Onana?
Onana.
Andre Onana, the goalkeeper from Ajax. It's
What?
Onana.
All right.
It's not a Disney movie.
lick my taint. Anyways, and then don't worry, Glenn, I shaved or showered or
No, just go.
neither. Anyways, okay. Then I would you gotta sign Basuma. I just hashtag boner for Basuma. Yeah, so I guess 4, and then I actually do like Madison. I would sign Madison. His injury thing is a little bit of a worry for me, but we're only playing 38 games, maybe a little bit more because of domestic cups. But we have no European football, so I think making that move wouldn't be the worst. And yeah, we need center forward because I don't think Balogun's ready. I think Balogun needs a loan. I don't think Lacazette's good enough. I think he's to me. I think Lacazette is what I wanted Luis to be the last couple seasons. Just be decent, play well, not terrible, but yet you want to bend the young players because everyone talks up Luis. Everyone's talking up Lacazette. All the young players are saying really good things about him. So yeah, do that. But we need to sell Eddie. Aubameyang we need to sell too, but I don't see anyone buying Aubameyang. So for me, he's just back up to Saka. He's just back up for a left winger. So yeah, I mean, you can't solve this team in 2 players. It's just not going to happen.
Well,
we'll go
the
and
backup goalkeeper. I wasn't thinking the backup goalkeeper, but that boy, oh boy, that might be right now. That might be the most important position that we need to sort because we're literally a bad challenge from having to go with a guy that I'm sorry I'm better than. And I'm 5'10" and fat and slow and old, and I'm still better than him.
For me, Odegaard, I think he's there for the taking. I actually believe he's coming back. And Aouar, I'm not the biggest fan of him because I've seen multiple scouting reports. I've seen multiple scouting reports on him that say when he's on, he's on. But, when he's off, ew. So, and I'm paraphrasing, of course. And I think those 2 would make us a top 6 contender, despite the ineptitude of our manager.
And I think it also comes down to this. Do you want the short fix to get us where we want to go, or do you want the long-term fix? And I know most fans don't want the long-term fix because if you want long-term, then yeah, you want with Rose said, you want backup for ESR. I don't think backup for ESR is really in the cards right now. We're not playing enough games. Yes, you obviously do want that, but technically I want backup for everybody. We can only buy so many people, only spend so much money. We're not going to get all this transfer business done in one window. It's just not realistic, and especially if we're not selling people as quick as we want to sell them. Because I'm sure I'm sure Arteta and Edu thought 3 or 4 players are going to be gone by now, but we don't have one. Well, Willock pending. But
I think the 3 players that they thought that would be gone would be, or the 4, Willock, Nketiah, AMN, and Reece Nelson. I at the very least, 2 would be sold, 2 would go out.
I think they thought Jacques and Bell were going to be gone. I don't know about Reece even Eddie.
I think when you look at their wages, I think that's what is going to set someone off from buying them.
I agree with that, but with the whole Xhaka thing, with him pretty much saying he got interviewed at the Euros, and he was saying how Rome's a nice place. I can't wait to go.
Yeah,
He pretty much said he's going to Rome, and it's like, all right, well, even the player knows he's going, so it's like, okay, fine, cool, cut the leash, see you later. But
let's talk about this for a minute. Not the player. I want to talk about the potential sale that was. Is it sell the player? And Glenn, you kind of said this. Be ruthless. Sell the player. If they're only offering you 12, take 12 and go. Mm-hmm. Take 12 and run. Or is it okay? No, I mean, because 12 to 20, that's a pretty big disparity. Is it not? Or disparity. Thank you. That's a pretty big disparity in value. Now you go 25 to 30. Well, okay, there's negotiation there, but 12 to 20, that's a pretty big gap. And I would be inclined to say, no, he staying here. What you have to do is you have to say this. Is Xhaka worth to you $12 million to get rid of him, or is he worth more to keep him? Which is worth more, Granit Xhaka or $12 million? Or 12 plus 3. So let's just split the difference and we'll call it 13.5. Which is more valuable, 13.5 or Granit Xhaka? Glenn?
I have no problem with Xhaka being on the team, but I would have sold him for 12 million because that's what the market says he is right now. I don't get why we have to recoup, every bit of money we invested into someone when, there's a worldwide pandemic. But I'm sorry. That's all I can say right now because my son is driving me crazy.
Do what you need to do, man. If you need to go. It's fine. Yeah. So Ryan, same question. Let's say 13.5 million, which is more valuable to Arsenal.
It's
Granit Xhaka or 13.5 million.
It's not under normal circumstances, but like under normal regular circumstances, I would actually, shockingly enough, say Granit. But given the COVID market, given the amount of work and things we had, I agree, and I agree with that. And people would go crazy and call me a hypocrite, but I agree with that. But we need money. We're a self-sustaining club. We need to make moves. We need to ship players out to ship players in. Like we have to. And I hate saying this, but there's a few things where we just have to just bend over and take it. I know people don't want to hear that. We're Arsenal. We're Big Six. We're top four. No, we're not. We're back-to-back 8th place. We have the culture of this club is shit. We have no mentality. Leadership is questionable at best. Like there's a lot of things in this club that are rotten, and we need to make a lot of ruthless things. And if that means us making us look like a fool, bending over, taking us money, then I'm sorry, but it's going to get harder before it gets better. Or, easier, whatever.
Well, let me put it to you this way. So, again, I'm splitting the difference here because it was 12.3 in add-ons. I'm splitting the difference, saying 13.5 million. So we get the 12. Let's just say we get $1.5 million of the add-on. So it's 13.5. So you take that 13.5, and now you're looking for that partner for Thomas Partey, as we've all railed on about, right? But let's say that partner is Bruno Guimaraes, and he's valued at 30 to 35 million. Well, at 13.5, and again, the funny thing is, as Ryan and I have said, Granit Xhaka is not the partner for Thomas Partey. Granit Xhaka is the backup to Thomas Partey. So we still need to fill that position regardless. But we sell Granit Xhaka, and we go and we look for the replacement, and we're going to replace Granit Xhaka with a partner for Thomas Partey. And let's just say it's Bruno Guimaraes, again, 30 to 35 million. You're adding 20 to 22 million to what the fee you got for Xhaka. So again, I ask, where's the better value? To me, and I agree with Ryan, to me, the better value is keeping Granit Xhaka right now. I'm not going to say unfortunately. I just think that's the smarter business. In my opinion. So
he's a good safety net. Us harping on Xhaka.
Wait, that's not what I said. I didn't say keep Xhaka.
But the point is this. I don't want on-the-job training with Arsenal. I like Chambers, but he, to me, is a squad player. I'm just, and I know, Ryan, you have no problem with ESR starting in the starting 11, for the season. But no, there's no on-the-job training. It's just mad.
But he doesn't need on-the-job. He had a fantastic season with us. It's not like we don't know what he is and we're like, oh, he played really good. He's not like in Balogun's shoes where you could say Balogun would be on-field training. ESR is not on-field training. He's a proven player. He's only gonna get better. And granted, I do agree. I think he needs someone to kind of be backup, but I think he needs as many minutes as we can.
Willock, I was sad to see him go, but like Ryan was saying earlier, we got to be ruthless. Why can't we be ruthless with the rest of them? Well, the Maitland-Niles. They
don't want to leave. They're on such high wages.
Let's talk about Joe Willock for a minute here, because I see there's man, sometimes there's just no pleasing a certain part of this fan base, man. They just want to be miserable. To me, I've been saying it for a day or so now. When the news was announced yesterday, this is a good deal. The selling of Joe Willock to Newcastle for potentially 25 million. This is a good deal. This is a deal that if you're Arsenal, this is a good deal. If you're Newcastle, this is a good deal. If you're Joe Willock, this is a good deal. There's no downside to this, in my opinion, whatsoever. We got 25 million, 22 plus 3. So we'll call even 22. We got 22 million pounds for a player who created that value in a different club. The fact is, he didn't create 22 million pounds worth of value wearing an Arsenal shirt. He did it wearing a Newcastle shirt. He was never going to create that kind of value for himself wearing an Arsenal shirt, which to me, again, that's why it's a good deal for Arsenal. It's a good deal for Joe Willock because he's going somewhere. He's comfortable. He's confident. And he's going to play. That's a good deal for Joe Willock. And maybe he doesn't want to live in Newcastle. Given what I know of the country, I'd probably rather live in London than Newcastle. But that aside, and it's a good deal for Newcastle because they're getting a player that they know they're comfortable with, and they know he'll perform for them. So I don't see a downside to this. I see people like, 22 million, it's not enough. He had his whole career in front of him. Not here, he doesn't. It's just that simple. He just doesn't have a career here.
No, you're right. It's a great deal.
Consider. I'm sorry, Ryan. Real quick.
No, go.
I just want to say, considering that Kroenke, the third richest owner in the Premier League, doesn't want to spend his own money, I see and appreciate and accept Willock, for that amount of money because Kroenke's not going to spend any of his own money. So yeah, I see that. We got to be ruthless. That's all.
And
I can't point at this from Charlie enough. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Remember that Joe Willock scored 8 of his 9 career Premier League goals. He scored at Newcastle. That's where this value came from. That's why we got the deal done, got it over the line. It's a good bit of business. Ryan, take it away.
No, yeah. It also to the same old Arsenal, which it's a great show. Everyone should check it out. I don't know if that's you, Craig, or whoever it is, but what's going on? But he brought up a good point. Why should Arsenal sell for cheap? And I agree, but let's say we don't sell. Let's say, you know what? Fuck you. We're not selling right. Too cheap. We're going to be stuck with the same squad of mediocre players. We're going to finish in the same spot. And it's me. I think we have to get rid of these players, like what we did with Ozil. Granted, we paid most of his wages while he was at Fenerbahce the last half. But, we made a move. We kind of put our foot in the sand and we're like, hey, this, we're not putting up with shit. Get out. We're going to terminate your contract and we're going to send you. And I think there's a lot of players that need that, like your Kolasinacs. I just think that if I don't know. Unless there's something that I'm not thinking of, we need to bend over and take it a couple times just to get rid of these deadwood players. And Jacques is kind of not a good example because he's a very divisive figure because people do think he's a really good player. People think he is a captain in Arsenal. And I'm not here to debate that. But there's just a lot of other players, again, like the Kolasinacs of the world and like the Williams of the world, that we need to just do whatever we can to get rid of. And if it means taking a lowball offer to bring in better players, then we have to do it. Because if we don't, we're going to be stuck with the same players year after year. And we're going to finish in the same. We're going to be in the same hole. We're going to be there with the Palaces, the Newcastles, the West Hams, the Villas.
We should hope we would be there with West Ham.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's fair. And here's the thing, and that's the thing too is we've been on such a decline for the past couple of years, and Liverpool was getting better, Man City was getting better, and we just kept declining. We're at the point now where we have to literally splash $200 million of probably Kroenke's own money just to kind of get near them. We're not spending 115 on Lukaku. We're not spending 100 million on Grealish. And it's funny because the fan base accepted that. The fan base knew that, but yet they expect us to compete with them. We're so far off. It's not even funny.
Are we? I mean, are we really? You really think we're that far off? I mean, and you said it earlier in the show, and you were spot on with this. Because and I gave you credit for this ad nauseum throughout the season.
I know, and it's great. I love hearing it every time.
At this time last year, I was in total disagreement with you. You said, "No, look, we're not good. We are not good. We are not gonna get Champions League. We'll be lucky to get Europa League." And look, the fact is, coming into last season, we were lucky to get Europa League by virtue of winning the FA Cup.
Yeah,
that's how we got it.
Yep.
But I still say when I look back at last season and I see just very minute things, be it a Granit Xhaka and Bernd Leno mishap at Burnley, a David Luiz getting called for a penalty that I still can't wrap my brain around. Drawing to Fulham. I mean, you can go back and you can look at individual moments, not necessarily, yes, individual mistakes, but also individual moments where you just say, if this goes the other way, and if this goes the other way, we're top 4 with the same team we have right now. And I'll say this, this is one spot where I will disagree with Dan on is ESR is better. He's going to be better. Bukayo Saka is going to be better. One player that I think could be very key to all of this is Pepe. And I think he is going to be better because he really came on at the end of last season, and hopefully he continues that confidence. Those players are going to be better. So
I think that's like to me, that's the biggest X factor. That's like the biggest thing that we need to look at, and the biggest thing we need to watch is if these, because I do believe that. I believe Saka is going to be better. I believe ESR is going to be better. I believe Pepe is going to be better. But again, it's just of, can they stay healthy? Can they do what they need to do? And I've said that on multiple shows. So yes, Craig, shout out to Craig. Yeah, anything can happen. And to be fair, I completely agree with you. And yes, shout out to you, Charlie. You were fantastic in the chat.
Thanks, Charlie. Yes, appreciate it. Hope you're still here. Hope you hear this.
But yeah, I see, Charlie. Now you lose my train of thought. No, so we were a couple bounces, a couple bad calls away from top 4. But you also realize too, I almost kind of relate to the Aubameyang thing. I also think too, like every other team decided that they didn't want top 4, and every team was letting us in the race. Every team was like, yeah, we're not going to win. And then we're like, I guess we'll take 3 points. So I don't think that's going to happen again. I think also too, it was because of a pandemic, but there were a lot of injuries. We got a few, but there were other teams like the Liverpools, Chelsea were hurt. The teams that were up there in the standings that really suffered. And I don't think they're going to be there. And I hope I don't want anyone really hurt, but I just think that there's so many variables to this equation. And what I really am looking out for is if these ESRs, Sakas, Pepes play well together, play better, because they're only going to get better. I would like to hope, and we could just build around what we have. Lokanga, I think, is going to be a good signing. I really hope it. And shout out to Drew. Drew was constantly shouting him out on Twitter, and I could not agree with him more. I think he's great. I think he has bigger than Guendouzi upside. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. But there are a few players that I think we need to go out and get from other teams, like the Basumas, like another striker. Who if I had to pick, which I didn't even say, someone I would really like would be Weghorst from Wolfsburg.
Well, I
think he's a perfect target man for us.
He certainly fits the way that Arteta wants to attack by just firing crosses into the box left and right, and he's a massive striker. He's 6'5".
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big, whatever it is, he's a big boy. So listen, I have 2 questions that I want to end with. The first question actually comes from Iconoclast. I love that name, by the way, Iconoclast. If Rodgers accepts Maitland-Niles as part of the deal for Maddison, do you truly believe that we have the better part of the deal given Rodgers' experience? He's not sure. Basically, what he's saying is he thinks that if you give Maitland-Niles to Leicester as a make-weight in the Maddison deal, Brendan Rodgers will make a player out of Maitland-Niles.
Well, how much are we giving? It's not. You're talking about straight swap, or are we talking?
No, it would
money?
be a player plus cash. So just take the cash out of the equation and just look at the player. Are we going to get more out of James? Would James Maddison do better for us than Maitland-Niles will do for Leicester?
I got a question for you guys. You trying to make me fucking cry? Okay. Yes, we all. First of all, Lester said we're not doing any swap cash deals. Okay. Brendan Rodgers said Arsenal has not made any inquiries to Leicester. Brendan Rodgers said that. He said if they were doing it, they would have told me. There's too much deadwood on this team, and we just can't accept the fact. And we Arsenal fans are like some Arsenal fans are like the abused spouse syndrome. We love the club so much. We're just making excuses for this team. Listen, it's a different world right now. We got to take the money that we can get for these players. It's look, we're still doing this shit. Look, this is the shit we're still doing here in New York. Okay? Around the fucking world. It's time to get rid of the deadwood. Hey, yard sale. Best offer for these friggin' players. I'm so sick of it. You guys are going to make me end this show by crying my eyes out or passing out from anger. I don't know which one.
I think I'd rather you cry because at least that way I know you're still conscious. So,
I love this. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster with Glenn. It's amazing.
Yeah, right.
I have my hands up in the air. I'm ready to go. No, and Glenn.
Wait. Are you waving them like you just don't care?
I don't know. That's like the thing people do on the roller coasters. They hold their hands up.
No, I know.
Guys,
you said I have my hands up in the air, and then I had to say, "Are you waving them like you just don't care?"
Look, there's 22 days to go. Maybe this show will be irrelevant in a couple of days because we'll get Owan, Odegaard, or you fill in the blanks. I don't give a crap. It's just we're so freaking slow with everything. The season starts in 3 days. 3 days.
Last question. Well, Ryan, did you want to add anything on the?
I don't know.
Who gets the better deal?
I mean, I saw AMN play for half a season at West Brom, a relegation level team. Granted, I don't even think he was the best centerman on that team. I think Colin Gallagher was the guy who I still like him, but Chelsea sent him on loan again to Palace, so I'm going to be watching him. So I don't know. I don't really know the potential he has. Only watching for half season. I thought he was good, but I think Madison's a better player. It's just a matter of Madison staying healthy, Madison playing the position and the role he wants to play and that he's best at. Because I don't know. I don't know with Arteta because. And that's the one thing too. I was going to ask. I forgot to ask Dan and you about. Well, maybe but every time I saw AMN play for us in the preseason, he was played in the center of the field as a midfielder. I don't know if you saw him come in as a right back. I think he did.
Came in as a right back yesterday.
He did. Okay. Because that's it. Because to me, then that's interesting. Because against Millwall, and I think it was Rangers, he was definitely a center mid. So if he now is going back as a right back. To me, that says he ain't going nowhere. He's going to be back up for Chambers, or maybe not. I don't know, but I think Madison's a better player. But to me, it comes down to money because I think they're a lot closer than people think.
60 million for Madison, 30 million for Odegaard. I'll be a lot more positive, and I'll stop yelling at you guys.
If we're
Madison said he's not a number 10, right, BG?
But if we're getting two, it's not going to be Madison, and it's not going to be Madison. It'll be Alward, Odegaard if we get
good. I'll take that.
It's not going to be. I don't think we get two, and one of them is Madison. I just don't see that happening. Last question, and we've got about 6.5 minutes. So. I see a lot of time
for one of Ryan's answers.
To be fair, I was going to say 30 seconds for Glenn, 6 for me. That's
right.
Okay.
I see a lot of people that continue to say we need a striker. Is it the strikers that we have are shit, or is it the system in which they're playing doesn't lend itself to them scoring a lot of goals? And I think you both know where I come down on.
All right, let me
buy a new? So the question would be: are you buying a new striker to fit the system? Which you got to go get. You got to go get Weghorst, or you got to somehow try to get Giroud back from AC Milan now. I don't know. I don't know who else you go get.
Okay,
I really don't.
I'll give my. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
I just wanted to give my 30-second answer. Look, with Ben White, we are slightly improved in link-up play. Okay, I would keep the strikers we have for now and see, if we can get like an Odegaard and an Aouar and see if the link-up play improves, which would improve the strikers. If we get those two and we're still struggling to score goals, then in the winter transfer market, fine. Then look for a striker.
Glenn,
Yeah,
you still have like 3 minutes left if you want to take it.
No, but that's basically, I really feel that's the way it is right now with our beloved club. Improve the link-up play, and then if the strikers, friggin' Lacazette, I saw the highlights against Tottenham. It looked like a B-roll of missed opportunities for him, So, but let's see if we improve the link-up play, if that improves Aubameyang and Lacazette and Pepe. That's all. I think we got to do A before we do B.
Okay, fair.
I'm really mad because that's exactly what I was going to say. I think we need to work on our link-up play, strengthen our midfield. I think I am very interested to see Ben White work with Lacazette because Lacazette starts so far back and Ben White has a tendency to really push up. So I would really like to see maybe Lacazette in the box more. I know that's something that, like a Rohan, is always screamed at. Lacazette's nowhere near the box. So. I think it's definitely an A then B thing. And let's not forget we have Balogun, and I know people don't want him here, but we also have Eddie, who's young also. Yeah. So I'm not saying we need to invest and really sign a young up and coming striker. I think if we do sign a striker, it's going to be someone like a Tammy Abraham, someone who's a little bit like a tiny bit older that we can cut a deal for, someone that we can get and not spend so much money for. I'm not saying Tammy Abraham is the guy, but I just. We need to, if we do sign a striker, it needs to be a deal because I do think Balogun will come good. But with that being said, if we bring in said striker, I think regardless, Balogun needs to go on loan. We need to see what he's about. We need to see if we could really play him there or if he's going to be another Willock where we send him somewhere and we don't think he's that good enough and we just make some money off of him.
Can I ask you a question, Ryan? Who would you rather have as the number 3 striker, Balogun or Nketiah?
Number 3?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're saying Aubameyang's a number 2?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because I would say Balogun, but I would prefer Balogun to go on loan and get minutes.
Okay.
For a Premier League, even Championship, I'll be happy with. Even if he goes to like a team that probably won't get relegated in the Championship, I'm not really answering your question, but I think what I want the most out of that is Balogun on loan. And so if that means Eddie's my number 3 and we can't sell him, then he did. And I'm going to try to spin it as positive as I can. Eddie looks built. He put on some muscle. And he did impress me in this preseason. Granted, it's just preseason, doesn't really matter. Anything can happen. But I just want Balogun to get minutes. Whether it's here or somewhere else, he needs to get minutes.
So I think we're in agreement as far as the striker is concerned. We need to work on. We think the strikers that we have are good enough, and I guess that's
might be good enough.
No, well, I don't think so. I just think that we need to address other areas of the pitch. I don't think our strikers are good enough, and it depends. Define what you mean. What do you mean by good enough?
Well, okay. So,
what do you consider good
enough? With improved link-up play, they could be better. That's what I mean when I say that.
I think that's
but I guess what's the benchmark for good enough? Are we saying good enough is top
score?
4?
Bloody score for crying out loud!
That's very
I know it's very vague.
It's very gray. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Last year we were 3rd in the league in goals allowed.
Yeah.
Third best in the league in goals allowed. 39 goals we allowed in the league. 39. Think about that's one goal a game. We gave up 1 goal a game, and in 1 game we gave up 2. That's what that averages out to. In 37 games last year, we gave up 1 goal, and in the 38th, we gave up 2. We're solid defensively. That's a pretty good mark. We can't score. So just score. And again, I know it's vague, but just score. The goals that when you should score, put the ball in the net. Aubameyang, Lacazette need to have between them 30 goals at least. At least 30 between the two. Do you have that? That
I think
they didn't hit 30 in all competitions last year.
I think it's just easier said than done because
Well,
like
sure,
I'm sure
but,
like there was one, maybe not, but this is obviously Mid City or levels ahead. But I'm sure there was one game, maybe not again, maybe that there was one game they didn't score. So not every to say score goals. There's games where really good teams don't score.
No, I what I'm saying is this: I can't put a number on it because I don't think that you can sit there and say that we need one of them to score 25 goals. That would be great if Aubameyang.
Why would you say good enough would be get us in the top 4, or get us into?
Well, yeah. Are they good enough? But are Aubameyang and Lacazette good enough to get us top 4?
No.
Just those two guys.
No.
Take everything else away. Those two, are they good enough to get us top 4?
I mean, if you put a world-class team behind them, maybe, but no, I know exactly. That's why I'm saying you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
but I don't think so.
Yeah, I say the squad as it is right now is another 8th place. It's a replay of last season.
I think it'll be a little
definitely a replay of last season. But yeah. I will politely and respectfully disagree. I think they are good enough.
You can do that. I'll beat you off there. It's fine.
I think what's needed is a change in system. And I said this on Same Old Arsenal.
Yeah, maybe.
But and we've look, Ryan, you and I have said this before. And I mean you coined the agents of chaos phrase for the front 3 or the front 4, however you choose, however you want to look at it. But where a Mikel Arteta has stripped away all of the creativity, all of the expression, all of the personality of our attacking players. The one player that I would say, the two players I would say he hasn't done it with as of right now are ESR and Bukayo Saka. They're the two bright spots in the attack. But Aubameyang's not the same player. And I don't think that's down to Aubameyang. I think that's down to Mikel Arteta's system. And he's being too rigid, too structured, too disciplined in attack. Take off the goddamn shackles and let them run at people, because they don't run at people. Our attackers actually run away from people. I get it. It's an attempt to create space, but they're running away from a defender in the hope that they'll drag that defender with them and create space. But it's pass.
And I agree with everything you're saying. The one thing I will say,
we never got a shot off.
The one thing I will say is Aubameyang and Lacazette are not the chaos. They're not. Lacazette is a structured player. Aubameyang is a little chaosy, but he's not like Pepe. He's not like Saka. He's not like ESR.
I'll say this though. With those three, with Saka, with ESR, with Pepe, I'll throw Martinelli in the mix, and I'll even throw Balogun in the mix. I look at those 5 players and I say, boy, if you saw any one of them, Balogun, striker, but if you saw him all of a sudden out on the left wing, would you be like, wait, what's he doing over there? Now, mind you, he's listed, he's a striker. That's his position. He was put on the team sheet as a striker. But you see him out on the left wing, and all of a sudden, here comes Bukayo Saka through the middle with ESR out on the right and Pepe in behind. And now you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Wait, he's supposed to be over here. He's supposed to be up there. The water boy is handing out free showers and ball washes. I don't know what the hell is going on. And the ball's in the back of the net, and we scored. You know what I mean? But Lacazette, you're right. You're dead on with Lacazette. That's why he fits. That's why he fits what Arteta's trying to do. But in this system, he's not going to score 20 goals.
I'm not ready.
But Aubameyang was always he gets the ball, he runs at a defender 1v1, creates, shoots. That's what he does. He's always done it.
And Lacazette and Aubameyang are low on my list right now of what needs to be done. In my opinion, you put those two on Manchester City, they'd score a shit ton of goals. And I know that you're arguing about the system, BG, but I'm not ready to give up on them yet. I want to improve the link-up play, and hopefully in the next 22 days they're going to do something.
I'm with you. I'm not ready to go out and buy a striker yet.
No. Neither am I. No. I genuinely think we're going to make at least 2 midfield signings. I really and I'm very pessimistic when it comes to transfer window. I genuinely think we're gonna, or at least one attacking minded center midfielder, because I wouldn't be shocked if we don't sign up a Suma type player, because he's just gonna, we're just like, oh, we'll just do Jacques Party. As much as I hate it, I could see us doing that.
My last word, because my family sucks. Is
it's dinner time, man. We're going.
Is my prediction is we're getting Awa and Odegaard. That's my prediction. And wow. I really have to go. Are we going now, BG?
Yeah, we're out of here, Glenn. Take off. Okay. We'll talk soon. You'll be around with us on Friday for
absolutely.
Pregame stuff.
What about tomorrow?
Take it easy, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow too. And he's gone. But yeah, okay. So, hey, this is the world of live television, right? Sometimes things happen and you got to go. But no, we're all done, Ryan. Last word from you on the topic tonight before I tell everybody what's coming up.
No, I hate people. I just say hate it, but I never think that person that's going to say, well, you can't judge someone, you got to wait till the window closes. But like I am waiting till the window closes, because I think there's so much more business to be had. I just think that a lot of the European clubs around the world are going to, I don't think it says European clubs in the world, but the European clubs, I think they're going to eventually just fold and be like, here's Awar for 15 million. Here is this person for this much. I do think there are some deals to be had. It's just a matter of us getting those deals, agreeing to terms with the player, and Arteta's a good talker, so he's gonna have his I guess his stage set out for him in the next 22 days. So let's hope he makes the most of it.
And look who shows up late to the party.
Of course, why not? You know, late like me, like a true spirit animal, always late to shit.
Love you, buddy. Mikey, we're going to talk soon, man. Keep an eye on your DMs for me, please, because I got some things to ask you. That is it. I want to thank my co-host this evening, Ryan, obviously, for always being here when I need him. Get better. Hopefully that eye clears up soon. We will be on, and Glenn, of course, will be on tomorrow night, 9:45 p.m. Eastern time, 6:45 p.m. if you're out on the West Coast, 2:45 a.m. if you're a night owl like me. You happen to live in wonderful England or the UK, and then from there, just take it away. I can't go through all the times.
Look on your iPhone.
So, look it up. But anyway, it's 9:45 p.m. Eastern time for Same Old Arsenal USA. We will certainly be doing a season preview. We will give a few predictions for a few things that we think may or may not happen throughout the course of the season. Wednesday, we will be off. Thursday, we are doing a special The Bearded Gooner show. That's a new one that we've got coming up on BG Media. So we're really going to hit it hard this week, folks, with the season kicking off. And then Friday, we will be starting at 11 a.m. Eastern with our coverage of the opening match of the season, Brentford hosting the Arsenal. So make sure you're up and ready to rock and roll with us on Friday. We will have a good lineup of guests coming your way. And then we'll get into the pregame show. The Arsenal tailgate will start at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you go to @BG Media on Twitter and subscribe there, or follow, please, @BG Media @BG Media AFC, @BG Media AFC on Twitter. And follow that, because that is where we will announce all of these shows. That's where you can keep up with everything. In fact, I'm going to put it right here for you so everybody can see it. There it is. Boom. There it is. Make sure you give that a follow. That's where you can find all of the shows. So that is it, Ryan. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Apparently, Tammy Abraham is going to Roma. That's fun.
Sure. Okay. Thank you to Dan Potts also for joining us. Great to have Dan. Great to have Pottsy on with us. He's all over the place. Glad we could get him in here. And that's it. So stay tuned. BG Media on Twitter will be putting out links and times for all of the shows. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if not already. I know a lot of you subscribed today. Thank you very much for that. We are out of here. As always, it has been great footy talk. We will see you out there.